Now, welcome to another news from Naboo, the weekend Ramble edition. And do be warned ahead of time, both of us are a bit under the weather, so this might not be our best video ever.
Still under the weather.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I think I sound low.
You sound terrible. I'm sure I sound amazing too, but...
You actually sound pretty normal to me.
Oh, well, thank you. Anyway, let's get right to our topic, which is going to be...
Hasbro. Ooh.
Wow. Okay, well, as usual, I'll probably do most of the rambling, so we'll save you what's left of your voice over there.
Yeah.
So anyway, recently Hasbro has announced yet another price hike is coming. They've also, as you may have heard, are planning to get rid of plastic bubbles or any kind of plastic window in any kind of their action figures. That's already happening with the next wave of... Is it the G.I. Joe figures already
I don't
revealed?
know, but I know that they revealed some Marvel Legends.
It was Legends, yes, not
Yes.
G.I. Joe. But it is coming for G.I. Joe. It's also coming for Black Series and presumably Vintage Collection, which... Does that ruin Vintage Collection?
Yes.
I agree with that 100%. I mean, as I've
I think
said...
that ruins any people who collect in box.
Yeah, I think it destroys in-box collecting, honestly. I recently started to buy a couple G.I. Joe figures.
My dismay.
To your dismay. I loved G.I. Joe as a kid. It was up there with, Star Wars, Transformers, Voltron. So anyway, I bought a couple figures because I liked the presentation. I kept them in package. I have just a couple. And I didn't really plan on buying a lot. I don't plan on buying a lot. And then when I heard about the box art coming, that I wouldn't actually get to see the figures, I kind of destroyed any desire I had to buy any more of these figures because I never intend to, pull them out of the box. I just liked a few particular ones. But anyway, going back to Vintage Collection, which I do partially collect, I have a fairly sizable Vintage Collection at this point. I will not buy them if I can't see them in the bubble, if it's not the old... I hate to sound like, that guy, they're not what I want them to be exactly. But, I mean, that's what a customer is, right? You're supposed to get what you want, and then you pay for it, and everybody's happy. They get their money, you get the product you want. And, I mean, even with Black Series, not that I don't get 90% of them online these days, but when I do find one I want in store, it is nice to be able to see it, see the paint apps, see if there's any problem. You are really good at that.
That's my job, is I will pull all of them off the shelf and examine them for who's got the best paint apps.
Yeah, and you're really good at that. You'll point out, no, see, this one's got some specs here, or this is wrong here. And now you're not going to be able to do that at all.
Honestly, for in-box collectors, I mean, you're pretty much just giving them a box.
Yes.
They're never going to see their figures.
You're giving
you don't have to
them a
put
picture.
a figure in there.
No,
they're just buying a box at this point.
Well, I've seen people bring that up because already there's a problem with people who will buy a figure, they'll take it home, they'll take out that figure, put a different figure in, return it, and the average person at the counter doesn't realize this is, you're returning it to. They don't realize this is a switched figure. Mm-hmm. So now you're going to have people who will buy it, will literally go home, open the box, take out the figure they want, put anything back in it. They don't even have to put a figure back in there anymore. And there you go. And so you could end up going to the store. You could be someone who does plan on opening it. You could buy the figure, get it home, and it's not the right figure. And you'll never know ahead of time. Unless you yourself are going to go rummaging in there, which is probably frowned upon in the store. So, I don't know. I don't know.
It's ridiculous. They're going to get rid of this because it supposedly will save them money and it's better for the environment. Aren't they still going to have a plastic insert?
For plastic figures. That's what I don't get. Like, the figures are made of Look, I'm all for saving planet Earth. I don't care where you stand on climate change and all that.
But those are recyclable plastics.
But yeah, sure. But my point is, I don't care. Not that I don't care about climate change or any of that. But my point is, no matter how you feel about climate change, whether you think it's some big hoax or you think it's the gravest threat humanity faces, I think we can all agree we want planet Earth to be clean, right? We care about the environment. That's a good thing. We want generations to come to be able to enjoy the planet Earth. So no matter how you feel about it, I do get wanting to do better for the environment. But you're already making plastic figures that you make in, China or Taiwan, wherever you make them. And then Vietnam, I believe, is the place they might make them. And then you ship them around the world on cargo ships. And so it kind of rings hollow when you're telling me that you're going to get rid of the plastic bubbles, but you're still going to ship your plastic figures that you make here and then to spread all around the world. I mean, that's your solution? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm...
Well, and think of it this way, too. When a person is buying a product, let's say it's someone who's not an avid collector. If I go into a toy store and I'm going to buy a gift for, let's say, one of my nieces or my nephews, and I'm looking in the toy department, and I walk down the action figure aisle, and I see like this glam shot they're putting on the front of the package. I'm assuming that's what's inside.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's...
Back in the day, if I'm walking down the action figure, I get to actually see the toy and go, oh, well, that's cool, or that's kind of lame. That doesn't look good quality. You're not showing me anything by showing me a picture of a product.
That's a really good point, because, I mean, there are even different 6-inch figures. Like, we've seen that they have the new generic kind of Star Wars 6-inch figures that come in the big packages, and, I mean, you want to know what you're buying, right? You want to know what's actually in there. That's what the whole purpose of the bubble was in the first place, so the customer would understand what you are actually getting your hands on, what your kids are going to be playing with, or what you're going to be, displaying. So it's very strange. You're just going to put this glamour shot, because let's call it what it is. It's going to be a glamour shot. They're not going to just take a picture. They're not going to grab a figure off the assembly line, take a picture of it, and slap it on the box and be like, well, that's what you're going to get. No, they're going to give you the best looking figure. They're going to have touch it up, and that's not what you're actually going to get in the box.
Right. I think that's a little dubious.
Yeah. Not that no product ever does that. I'm not saying that's not a uncommon practice. It's a pretty common practice, but when you're talking about toys, like, you really want to know what's in there. I mean, I don't know. I think this is a move that's really going to bite them in the ass, to be blunt about it.
Collectors who want the figures that they're already talking about doing this to don't want them this way. No,
they do not. Like I said before, I started to buy some of the G.I. Joe Classified, and, I just wanted to put them on my desk or whatever, just to, have them in the package. I thought they looked really good in package, and now that's it. I'm done. I'm done with your line, and I'm someone who gets addicted real quick to these kind of things, and probably would have bought a bunch of them, but now has no desire to buy anymore. And same goes for vintage collection. I'm done as soon as you cover up the figure. I'm sorry, but that's it. And not to mention the price hike. We haven't even really talked about.
Oh my goodness, no, we haven't. That they're talking about upping the figures. I mean, will you be paying $30 for a 6-inch figure? Are you paying $20 for a 3 3/4?
I think there's even a point where someone like me, who is just loves the Black Series, maybe more than I should, and has been collecting since almost day one. Since the second wave, I think, was when we got into it. We didn't first get into that first wave because I was like, I don't want to collect. Saw them in the store. I'm like, God damn, I have to have these.
And then I bought them.
Yeah, you were the one who actually bought them, and you burst the dam, and here we are with, hundreds of figures 10 years later. But there does come a point where even someone like me, even someone who, is hell-bent on getting every single figure, will say, I'm not going to pay $35 for this anymore. And if you're getting to the point where you got the hardcore collectors questioning it, the people who, I don't want to say I don't care about the price, but it's not that it's irrelevant to me. Certainly I don't, certainly not that kind of thing, but I will pay what I have to pay to get what I want. Well, but even me, I'm now like, I'm not gonna pay this. This is getting too much. This is getting ridiculous. Not only that, but now you're gonna take away my plastic boxes too. Not that I care so much on Black Series.
Well, and think about it with parents too. Are they going to go in there and pick up a $30 6-inch toy when they can grab it from a different line and go, yeah, they like Batman too. That's fine.
Yeah, and I don't, Batman, you can see the figure. It's a nice big fun figure. A lot of the McFarlane toys look really nice. I don't know much about them. Haven't really bought any McFarlane toys, but they always look great.
I have one.
I think you do. I think maybe we do.
I have a Harley Quinn, I think.
Yeah, that's what you have. But no, I understand inflation. I understand what's going on, with Russia and Ukraine, and I'm sure you've lost a customer base there with Russia. You don't want to. I get all that, but if you're going to pass the price on to your other customers when they're already paying a premium for these figures, they're paying a lot of money for these figures, and now you want to pay more, and now you're going to take something away at the same time. Not to mention, inflation doesn't just hurt the company, it hurts everybody who wants to buy these products. So maybe you are someone who is kind of on the borderline with the price, and, inflation is happening, and you have other things to buy. You have food and, a roof to keep over your head. You're going to stop buying these figures. So the irony is, by making these changes, by price hiking, they just shrink their customer base, which is going to force them to, try to raise prices even more and squeeze out even more people. It's, it's the old Tarkin saying, the more systems will slip through your finger, the more customers are going to slip through your finger, the more you, increase prices and do all these things. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know what else to add to this right now. I know, again, I'm not feeling particularly well. I know Naboo here not feeling well, so hopefully we've made some sense. We're not in a delirious haze right now.
could be.
You might be. You look like you might be. I'm feeling pretty not happy about the current situation with collecting. It feels like, and the thing is collecting something that's going to appeal to the generation coming up? I ask this question all the time. I mean, our kids these days don't really play with toys. Certainly not the way I played with them in the 80s, and probably kids in the 90s and even early 2000s probably played with action figures.
Toys of what they played with or what they watch.
Well, sure, they want but I mean, toys for me as a kid that was a huge part of it. We all played Star Wars. We were all outside, and like I've said before, outside in the dirt with our action figures playing Star Wars. You know, do kids still do that today? I don't see it. I'm not saying they don't want toys, that no kids play with toys, but part of the appeal of the action figure today for someone like me is the nostalgia. It's remembering as a kid having these toys and just wanting that feeling or whatever it is. So if you have kids today who are not growing up, playing with action figures anywhere near as much, if they can't get into it at a younger age, like when you were teenagers or late teen, whenever you might start collecting, these figures are $30 each. That's quite a chunk of money to someone who might be, in their teen years. At least it was to me when I was in mine.
And the imagination is a muscle just like any other.
Sure.
If kids aren't getting to stretch it, they're missing out on something.
I agree.
I mean, we had Barbies, and, me and my sisters, we made up all of our own storylines of who was dating who, where they were going. We made whole stories and worlds out of the ones we had.
Like every time I played with, my friends or my brother and sister, we always were creating things with our mind. And again, I'm not trying to be, back in my day, things were so much better. I'm simply saying, I don't know that action figures appeal to kids as much anymore. I don't know that they're, like you said, flexing their imagination if they're going to care about collecting these in years to come. So
I think it all depends on the parents, too.
Sure.
I mean, there are going to be parents on both sides of it. There's the parents in their family who really get involved in the child's play and the development and in teaching them how to play, And then there's, unfortunately, the other ilk of parents who just let their kid watch TV.
Yeah, and
there's both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't really... I mean, playing a video game or watching TV doesn't really flex your imagination it doesn't make you work it as much as... And again, I'm not trying to say back in my day it's better, but, if you just sit down and play a game, you're not really having to imagine anything. It's all presented right before you. But anyway, I think we might be getting a little off topic here. My point is, or I guess my question is, what is the limit here? Are you well past it as a collector? Are you not going to tolerate, bubbleless figures? Are you not going to tolerate another price hike? So what you can do now, take to the comments below. Tell us what you think about these things. Tell us if we made sense at all in this video. And until next time, thanks for watching.